Honorable Eric Opoku, who is very happy to take your questions. And thank you so much again for making the trip to Des Moines. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
We'll start with questions from accredited media as a starting point. Would anyone like to start? Yes, Tanya.
Hi. Sorry. Yeah, I think the last time I responded to this question, that it is very, very important for us to preserve the resources that we have for some specific reasons. We have to use these resources to help ourselves and also protect them for the future use of our own children and grandchildren. And so what we are doing in Ghana is to ensure that all these resources, our water bodies, our trees, the forests, and everything is preserved and preserved well. Now, the EU regulations are being complied with. We have, even in the cocoa sector, we have established the traceability system, and we are able to trace the cocoa from where it is produced through to where it is going to be sold. So we are following through the processes. EU has to support the implementation of these regulations, and I think that a lot is on them. I haven't checked whether they have paid or not, but I think that once they have made the commitment, they should be able to actualize it.
Great. Other questions? Please.
Yeah. I think it's a very important question. Now, when you look at the Ghanaian population, it is a youthful population. People from age 15 to 35 constitute 38% of our population. But 60% of the youth are located in the urban areas where agricultural activity is minimal, because the bulk of the agricultural activity takes place in the rural communities, leaving the aged to do agriculture in the rural communities. And so when you look at the average age of our farmers, it's estimated at 45 years. So the future of agriculture must be critically looked at. And that is why in our Feed Ghana flagship program, we have introduced a program called institutional farming. Under the institutional farming, we are urging our schools to take advantage of the fertile soil to produce food on their own to support the school feeding program. So as we speak, we have about 413 schools, secondary, junior high, university, tertiary institutions registered and participating in the Feed Ghana program. We offer them the advisory services, some input support, and then they are producing food on their own to support the Feed Ghana program. We are doing this for some important reasons. One, we want to stimulate the interest of the upcoming youth into agriculture so that the aged, those who are into agriculture, the age 45 that we talked about, can be reduced to around 30, 35. You have a lot of the youth participating in that. Then secondly, in our part of the world, hitherto, when students were in breach of school rules, they were assigned portion of the school land to clear as a punishment. And so growing up, a lot of people grew with the mentality that farming or weeding is a form of punishment. We want to use this to erase that erroneous mentality and get our people to appreciate the fact that agriculture or farming is a very profitable business that can guarantee livelihoods, that can guarantee sustainable livelihoods for our people. Then also, we are also introduced what we call the backyard garden. Backyard garden. That every household in Ghana must have a garden. Our land is too fertile. Wherever you grow, you can get something. Leave a small space in your own house. Grow some vegetables there. Pepper, tomatoes, onion, garden eggs. This will reduce the cost of feeding the house and make cost of living affordable for every Ghanaian. Then in our part of the world, we have more churches than schools. More churches than schools. I hope you agree with me, because you are with us there. The last time I counted in my hometown, I got 9 schools, but 39 churches. So as part of our program, we are also urging the churches that they should also be part of agriculture. They should also have farms. Because if the people are hungry, how can you minister unto people who are hungry the word of God? They will not be able to, absorb anything. So we are bringing everybody on board to collectively create a situation where Ghana will be food secured. But let me thank you. You are also supporting us. You are currently handling about 16 or 19 schools, eh? Yeah, 19 of them. I think we have to scale it up. We want to see a situation where every school will be part of it. Because this school farming initiative is going to improve both the quantitative and the qualitative aspect of the food that is served to our children in schools. And growing up, they will come out as people who understand agriculture, appreciate what agriculture can do, and they can fully be part of the process.
Other questions? Yes, in the back.
Good morning. Okay. When I talked about intentional agricultural policy, I was looking at government intentionally crafting a policy to address a challenge that hinders food security. In our case, we're looking at how we can make women, youth, and persons with disability active participants of the Feed Ghana program. Now, let me indicate here. We've been talking about inclusion almost everywhere. And the emphasis has been how we can include women, youth, and persons with a disability in our agricultural space. In Ghana, our records indicate that the agricultural sector is dominated by women. Because in 2021, the Ministry of Finance published our gender strategy. And in that document, it was stated that women constitute 52% of the agricultural population in Ghana. And so, if they constitute 52%, they are dominating. And when it comes to food production, the 52% women produce almost 70% of the food that is produced in Ghana. When it comes to agricultural marketing and agro-processing, the women handle over 90% of it. So clearly, it's a sector that is in the hands of the women, unlike that of USA. In the United States, your farmer population is estimated at 3.4 million, and only 1.2 million are women. You are doing just 36%. We are doing 52%. And so when it comes to women inclusion in agriculture, we may have to give you some lectures. So when we talk about intentional agriculture, like what we are doing in Ghana now, We want to produce enough food to feed our people. So we are investing in food production. But after production, how do you process? So you have to be intentional. Once you make that huge investment, you should anticipate bumper harvest. How are you going to handle the produce? And that makes it intentional. So intentionally, we invested in the provision of storage facilities. We are investing in the establishment of industrial parks so that when they produce, they will be in there to buy. Because there's this theorem that I read about, cobweb theorem, where the farmers produce in anticipation of demand, and then they make the food available to the market. Nobody is there to buy. They get discouraged. So the next year they will say that, oh, I will not invest in the production of maize again. After all, last year when I produced, nobody was there to buy. Then that year, because of shortage of maize, the price will go up. And then some farmers say that, price of maize is going up. Let me go into the production of maize again. So you see them going forward and then coming backwards. But if you are intentional, every step you take, you should be able to anticipate the outcome and then put in place the right mechanisms to contain the situation.
Thank you. Other questions? Please.
Yeah, when you see agriculture as agriculture, certainly you cannot create jobs. It is only when you see agriculture as agribusiness, then you reposition yourself to create the jobs for the people. So what we are doing now, we are doing agribusiness. We are bringing agriculture and then processing together to create the agribusiness space. So first, we are providing irrigation infrastructure, which is key to guarantee food security. Because in Ghana, our agriculture has been basically rain-fed agriculture. We depend on the mercies of the weather. If the weather is favorable, good news. If the weather is not favorable, we are in trouble. Now, the president has directed that we develop agricultural irrigation infrastructure. Fortunately, our nation is blessed with irrigable land estimated at 1.9 million hectares. And as we speak, only 5% of the irrigable land is under irrigation. So we have a lot to do. That is why we have launched a program called Irrigation for Wealth Creation. And under that program, we want to provide irrigation to ensure all year-round farming. Then again, when the farmers are producing, we must have at the back of our minds that they are rational. They are producing in anticipation of demand. So we prepare the market for them so that as soon as they produce, buyers will be ready to buy and then they will make their incomes. If this happens, agriculture becomes very lucrative. Along the chain, you create a lot of jobs. Let me give you an example. We have launched the 24-hour economy policy. Under the 24-hour economy policy, we are encouraging businesses to run for 24 hours in 3 shifts of 8 hours each. Now, assuming a business that was hitherto operating for 8 hours is now going to do 24 hours, it will mean that they have to triple their demand for raw materials to be able to stay in business. And the farmers will now have ready market because they have to produce the raw materials for them. Now, when you are adding value, you employ more people, and then you reduce your imports because you are able to manufacture the kind of things you were importing. And along the process, you create the jobs. So we believe that with the agricultural potentials we have and the policy that we are implementing, we are opening jobs. We are creating job opportunities for our youth. except that we also have to work a bit on the mindset of our people. Because most of us, because of colonization, we seem to be thinking about white-collar job, getting employment in the office of government, in the agencies of government, where the system is already choked. Because when you check the records, the number of people on the United Kingdom's government payroll is not as huge as what we have in Ghana. Why? Because the private sector is the engine of growth. And so we want to create that atmosphere where the private sector will be able to create the jobs. You have been out for some time. I think when you come, you see that agriculture is gradually shifting to agri-business. And we are bringing the two groups together to make sure that we create the jobs.
Thank you. Other questions? I have a quick, please.
Two. Okay. Okay, add the second one so that I'll take them together. Okay. The first one has to do with cassava processing. In fact, records available to us indicate that Ghana is the second largest. You reduce out to third. We are the second largest producer of cassava globally. And then it's good you ask about how we are processing it. You know, we have varieties of cassava. We have the type that is basically produced for consumption locally. And then that type of cassava is processed into flour and some form that is called gari, which is a very popular staple among students. In fact, we call it the students' friends in Ghana. And now, brother, you remember your school days, how gari supported you. And now you are not marketing gari, why outside? Then at the commercial scale, we have people who have invested in cassava production, and they are also doing processing. I think yesterday also, I attended the root and tuber session, and a gentleman from Ghana came to testify, having worked with our research institution, the farm he has established, the processing aspect of it, and how it is working perfectly. And so that is what we are doing now, but we want to scale up. We want to scale it up. We want to make sure that we add value to the raw material that is produced. Because when you look at the production that we do in Ghana, you will never think that our farmers are poor. They do so well. But because we export just raw materials, we earn peanuts. These raw materials are exported to the advanced world, they add value to it, and then they bring it back to us at prices that are very, very expensive. And so now, the way to go is processing. So what we have done is that we have a lot of programs to support, processors. One is what we call the Bridge Initiative, which is a product of the MasterCard Foundation. Under the Bridge Initiative, we have designed the program in such a way that small-scale and medium-scale processors will be moved from potential to profitability. Now, how are we going to do it? They are giving loans at low interest rates, credit guarantees, and insurance, so that processors can have the opportunity to access funds. And then we are also building the skills, the mindset of a modern workforce, so that when you have market, you have finance, and then you have skilled labor force, certainly businesses can flourish. So these are some of the mechanisms that we are putting in place. But we want to say that the president has indicated that because our focus is on processing, anybody interested in investing in the processing aspect of our system, we are ever ready to partner with you to create that conducive atmosphere for you to be successful, because it will inure to the benefit of the people. When you process in Ghana, you employ a lot of people there, and then you plow back a lot of your profit in the system. Then again, you contribute to the economic development and growth of our nation. And so certainly government must be part of that process to support you succeed. Okay. Then on the issue of illegal mining, yes, nature has blessed our nation. Every part of Ghana, you find gold. And that is why the first white man who stepped onto our soil called Ghana the Gold Coast. The Gold Coast, because gold is found everywhere. But gold mining has been the business of people with capital, huge capital, because they are able to acquire the machinery and then bring on board the expertise that is required to be able to mine. Hitherto, our people were doing this small scale mining with cutlasses and hoes, and they were not destroying our environment. Nowadays, we have seen some kind of a situation that is unfortunate and that is polluting our environment. So on assumption of office in January, His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, has made a strong commitment. And it is not only commitment, we are into full action. We are waging a hectic crusade against illegal mining. And some gains are being made. And we are sure that within the shortest possible time, we'll bring that to an end. Those from the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, the fight against galamsey is being led by the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. And we are offering them the support that is required. Because if the land is polluted and the water bodies are polluted, certainly it will affect the quality of food that is produced. And so from Ministry of Agriculture, we are also concerned, and we are working in tandem with the Ministry of Lands and Lands and the Natural Resources to have the situation remedied.
Thank you. Other questions? Yes, please, Tanya.
What specific project did you mention? The sugar factory. Good. Yes. You know, we are being tactical in our approach as government to resolving some of the challenges that confront us. When we assumed office, our exchange rate was a nightmare. And when exchange rate is not stable, it creates a lot of uncertainties in the business space. In fact, it can convulse the entire economic environment. And so our decision was how we can stabilize the Ghanaian exchange rate, restore confidence in our currency, and ensure that our economy is able to generate jobs, is able to increase incomes, and is able to deliver prosperity to the people of Ghana. Some of the measures we have put in place include the very issue you talked about. Ghana, every year, spends $350 million on the importation of sugar. But we have land that is capable of producing sugar cane in sufficient quantities. In fact, latest soil tests done in Volta region has revealed that Volta region is conducive for the cultivation of stevia, non-diabetic sugar. And so government strategy is that if we have the capacity, then let's shift from importation to local production. So now we are investing in the production of sugarcane investing in the processing of sugar in Ghana so that we can wean Ghana off the huge food import bill, reduce the pressure on our currency, and create a sustainable, exchange regime that can support business development. So it's a project that government is 100% for it. We have even established the processing factory, except that for a long time, we have not been able to operationalize. And now the president has committed to ensure that it is operationalized. So we are waiting for them to come so that we can start immediately. In fact, there is an attitude about investors that some of us who are into the political space find it difficult to comprehend. When it comes to investing in an area, investors are more conscious of the risk. But you cannot be a good entrepreneur when you are, averse to risks. You should be able to manage risks. We are politicians. We have the mandate of the people to exercise leadership within 4 years. And we want this monumental achievement to be made within that space of time. So when I'm called to account for my stewardship, I can boldly tell my people that within the 4 years, I was able to achieve this, and therefore renew my mandate for me. So we expect you in the business space to understand the time limitations under which politicians operate. And then let's work together so that we can fast-track the processes of actualizing some of these dreams.
Great. I think, unless there's any other questions, I think we can wrap up. Final question, please.
Yet when you say lands have been polluted, I would agree with you. But when you say there's pollution and therefore food is unfit for export and other things, that is not established in Ghana. And in fact, that is far, far, far beyond the reality. The reality is that we have seen some pollutions in forest areas. And we are told by the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources that most of our forests that were under attack by the illegal miners have been reclaimed. And so now we are gradually pushing people out of those areas. What we have to do now is that, look, all the people who are engaged in the illegal mining, they are the youth. And they claim to be the owners of the future. So if they are destroying the land, they are destroying the water bodies, polluting the environment, are they not endangering their own future? And that's why I'm saying we have to work on the mindset of our people. Get them to understand some of these things and appreciate that if we can handle our resources in a more sustainable manner, it will inure to the benefit of the present and future generations. Yes, there is a new party in power. And the party is committed under the leadership of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to reset Ghana. Reset means bringing Ghana back on track to deliver to the aspirations of the people. And that's exactly what we are doing. We are no longer interested in aid. We are interested in partnership. A relationship that can lead to mutualism so that every party will be a beneficiary.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Oh, and that's my chocolate. That's made in Ghana chocolate. Yeah. Thank you very much.